Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome back. Episode 6 of Avatar Legends. As you can see, Casey is not here with us today. He is playing a gig. But we're all here, and we're ready to play some games. So we're just gonna go around this table with our GM, starting making stuff happen. So wow, people are not in the correct place for some reason. Where's Obi? He disappeared.
I'm twice on the overlay.
You are twice on the overlay. What's going on?
Really
Why? I did not catch that.
It's fine.
It's okay. None of everything. Obi, when did you change shape? Easy peasy, I found it. We're fine now. Okay, go ahead, Arnica. You can start us off.
I know, but it was just so enthralling watching it happen. I never get to watch you fix the cameras. Hi, I'm Arnica. She, her. Welcome to episode 6. We're like halfway through season 1. I can't believe this. We are, we're hauling ass through this, no less. You can't even. It doesn't feel like we've taken time off, but we did, and now we're back. We are down a player today. Our resident musician is rocking out with his socks out. Yep. He's gonna blow the speakers and do a great job, but unfortunately, that does mean that while he's doing that, Lopong is kidnapped. It's kind of a 2-for-1 deal.
What a coincidence! He was kidnapped last session.
I know. Wild. So lucky. And so today for my characters, for my players, I have a really important question. It's just, I have to know, if you were to take your character's hand and walk them into a zoo or even a pet store here in the real world, what is the one mundane animal that would just blow their mind, just ruin their life? Like, what the fuck do you mean this is only, it is? Okay, let's go ahead and start with Mare this week.
Hi, I'm Mare. I use they, she pronouns. And today I am playing Wong, who uses he, they pronouns using the Rogue playbook. And if I brought Wong into a zoo, the one animal that would make him go, what the fuck is a giraffe? Because why the fuck is it so tall? How is its neck not broken? They do what with their heads to fight other giraffes? Yeah. Don't fuck with a giraffe.
Love it. I'm here for it. Okay, Obi, what about you? Hi.
Hello, everyone. I am Obadiah, but today I will be Kim Jiwon. And he has been to the aquarium. He's seen what it has to offer, and he's got a lot of very particular questions to ask about eels. First off, where are their legs? What has happened? Who did this to them? This is not acceptable. And sure, you tell me there are electric eels. They are surrounded by water. How can they firebend?
Get the fuck off my screen!
Absolutely outrageous. You can't do that. That did not happen. Who is running this con?
They're absolutely fake.
Absolutely fake. Hey everyone. I'm Val. I am a she, they, it kind of person, and I play Kayam, who's a they, he kind of person. If I brought them into a zoo, I think the animal that he would be most, not necessarily disturbed or confused by, but I think it would be, Galapagos tortoises. Because one, like turtle ducks. Two, I've been to the zoo, and every time I am at the zoo and there are tortoises, they are always fucking. And In fact, I remember last time I was at the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans. Nick and I, my husband, are walking like down the like into the zoo, and we just hear ah ah ah, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And sure enough, the tortoises were fucking like, which also coincidentally is the noise that they used for the bark for velociraptors in Jurassic Park. You thought they
At
were
least-
seals? Nah, bro, it's tortoise fucks.
At least when that happens, that's a teachable moment at the zoo.
Yeah. Well, like, it's just kind of weird. It's just sort of like, you know, what's the idea that birds exist on their own and that turtles exist on their own is just a weird concept, right? At first I was gonna say owls, but then I realized there's a giant fuck off owl that lives in a library in a desert, so it's probably not that confusing that they're smaller versions of it. Same thing with like foxes. But yeah, no. Tortoises.
I think these are all great choices for our characters.
Yeah.
These are amazing answers. I'm
I
very
vote
happy
next
with
week.
them.
When Casey's back, we also ask him this question because I need to know what
Yes.
Lo Fong has
Yes.
to say.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. So heads up, this is a viewer affected game. I just got told today by Twitch that I only have to make $50 a month now to get a payout. So score. Like, but this is a viewer affected game. You can affect the game with your bits, subs, and donations. Every 100 biddies gives a reroll to anyone you see here at any point. Subscribing to the channel gives us a +1 to anyone that you see here. And if you donate, sliding scale donation, you can make shit happen that's within our lines and veils. There's $1 donations of, I don't know, like, you know, 100 biddies, or, you know, a $5 donation of having like a giant tortoise. Like suddenly one of these animals suddenly appear to confuse us. Because normal animals do exist in this world. They are just rare. And $10,000 to make us shut the fuck up and go away. And apparently $10,001 to make us come back. Like, as was discussed. Otherwise, on top of all of this, it is Extra Life season, and Extra Life is only in 2 weeks from now. And I am, you can type in the chat, !Extra Life to donate to Extra Life. We have a $1,500 goal this year. As well as if you subscribe to my channel in any form, Twitch Prime, I match all of my Twitch subs in the months of October and November to go to Extra Life. So, you know, I've got 17 right now. So if that's $17 this month that I shall donate. I'm also matching last month as well, just waiting for the payout to come. But yeah, so if you got that Twitch Prime that's just hanging out and you want to give it to someone, if you give it to me, I'll give $1 to Extra Life. So, US dollars, not Canadian. So, because, you know, 73 cents is not $1. That being said, that's me, that's us. Let's play some games.
All right. 1 second. Frog in my throat. A weird frog? No. A normal frog, which in itself is weird. All right. So, last week we found ourselves in Gowling. The children are safe on top of a butte, snuggled down, protected by a small herd of air bison. They are resting. They are they are having some time alone, knowing that they are isolated and safe, and no one knows they're there. So that meant that you guys just got to go off by yourself and just do a little bit of shopping. All you had to do was walk in, buy a hat, get some spicy nudes, say hi Uncle Boomy, and bounce. Like, it should have taken y'all 20 minutes, and now y'all been here like 5 hours, and you've accidentally sparked a panic by telling a really anxious shopkeeper that he was accidentally smuggling genocide goods, and Uncle Boomy will see you at dinner, and also you lost Lo Fang. Good job, y'all. So,
Also sent the
He
art
lost
district into a
himself.
tizzy.
He's
Like-
fun.
or Lo Fong lost himself. One
Yeah.
of those things.
Yeah. We didn't lose Lo Fong. He decided to go off on his own and get kidnapped. We don't know this. But
At least when I walked off, I said what I was gonna do. He just fucked off.
yeah, I expected him to follow
He
us,
did
and when he
fuck off.
didn't, I was just like, oh, well, I guess Lo Fong got his own bullshit he's got to do, so.
He did fuck off.
Having
So
that
why don't
PTSD response.
Why don't we go ahead and see what you guys are doing? Let's start with Mare. So Mare, where's Wong? What's going on?
I think we all left together.
Yeah,
Two of you left together.
that's right.
Mr. Kim is heading
Oh,
in
that's
a
right.
different direction. He has to meet his uncle for dinner in a little bit.
In that case, I'm with Kayab.
Yeah, we're together. This is the first. Well, it's not the first time we've tag teamed because we have to babysit together, but like we're on the hunt. Like,
Oh Lord, it's Toucan Speckle Day. Mm-mm.
Kayab. When I left, do you know what way he went?
can I just make a roll for an assess the situation, Arnica, just to like if I had realized where he had went or not, right?
Yeah, go ahead, assess the situation. So roll with your roll with your creativity.
Yep. That is a very good roll. It's a 10.
Nice.
Mhm.
So
Which way did he go? That's my question. Cardinal
you
direction
think-
at the very least, yeah.
So you think back, and it occurs to you that if you guys headed east,
Mm-hmm.
and Wong kind of disappeared to the west, he kind of faded off into the left-ish
Mhm.
direction. And if neither one of you saw him and you came in from the south, then probably Lo Fong just kept going straight through the market towards the upper class district in the north.
Okay.
It's your best guess, and it's really reasonable. It's a true guess.
Yeah. I was like, well, we were going to the market, and he seemed to have gone. We went to the art district in the market, and then he just went. He went north. That much I know.
All right.
Good place
Maybe
to start.
let's go that way. See if maybe ask around, see if anyone saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, he doesn't really have any defining characteristics, so this might be a little difficult.
I mean, he's very tall and broad and dark.
Which can be described to
handsome.
like a lot of people.
That is fair. He's very unassuming. It's almost like he's
Intentional.
yeah.
That's a problem. At least in terms of finding him.
Yeah. He
Alright.
does have a scar on his lip. He has a scar, so that is a defining trait.
All right. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
All right, cool. We're gonna start searching.
Okay. So the two of you wander up towards you wander up through the market. You pass a couple places. Nothing really. A couple things look kind of cute. There's some interesting stuff. Things are getting nicer as you head north. The fabrics are a little finer. The hats are not as silly. They're nice, but they're not as fun.
Mhm.
Right?
The food places look a little nicer, and you see that there is a shrine. You do have to pass by a shrine because you're not coming in the same entrance Lo Fong did. You
Mhm.
guys are actually coming in. You don't know this, but the direction he was trying to leave.
Mhm.
So there is a memorial shrine
Okay.
on the left-hand side as you come up. There's a large square, I don't know, a couple 100 feet in front of you. You are in the district where your right where the upper class business district starts to turn into the upper class housing district. This
Mm-hmm.
is where the council does their work. This is where judges go to get their bribe meals,
Mm-hmm.
but when they have to do it for lunch. Um, so this is where you are.
There's how many, like, what's the crowd like here?
The crowd it's later in the day, so it's actually thinned out pretty good. Most people have
Mm-hmm.
either headed home or they're in one of the shops themselves. There's two or three people over by the shrine, and there's a small, like a very small crowd of older people who like to get to city meetings early,
Mm-hmm.
who are by the council doors because there is a town council meeting tonight, remember?
Mm-hmm. That's right. People who like to be there early, so they might have been there the longest. So,
Do you,
huh?
do you want to split up or do you want to go together?
I kind of
It's
like
not a big-
look at you, and then I like look at your clothing choices up and down.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And I'm just like, you should probably have my back. I'm gonna go talk to the old people.
Why am I having your back?
Listen, and I just kind of wave. These are fancy hooty tooty types, right? And
I
Ooh.
look like a ragamuffin.
Yeah, you look like a ragamuffin. And you know what? It's a look. It's a vibe. I dig it, right? I don't discriminate against people's clothes, but
There's just no point in having anything fancy when you're running half the time. So
fair.
no, I get what you mean.
Fair. So, just in case, just stick to the shadows and watch me like a
Would you like me to
sparrowhawk.
stand right off to the side menacingly for you?
Yeah, be menacing. Or no, wait, I'm trying to be very nice. So, you shouldn't be menacing. Because I have to go swoon some old people.
You go swoon some old people. I'll
Look for
loiter.
clues.
I'll look for clues.
You look for the physical clues. I will look for the social clues. Please don't get in trouble. If you do, just scream my name.
I make no promises, but I will do my best.
Okay. And just like, I'm assuming we're gonna stay within like eyesight line of each other for the most
Mhm.
part, right?
Yeah.
But I am just going
20
to,
feet.
Yeah. I'm gonna approach this group of elders, waiting for this meeting. Be like, something's exciting going on, isn't it?
All right.
Here we go. The
So
face.
pick a number 1 through 4.
Oh man, I'm just gonna let the dice let me decide on that one. It's a 2.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So out of the 4 people who are gathered closest to you in a knot, it's 3 older women and a slightly younger man. Like if the women are in their 70s, then the man
Yeah.
is in his, early 60s. But they seem to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
They're all conversing, and one of the women turns around to you slowly. Thankfully, she doesn't give you the up and down. She just turns a little bit slowly, like she's not sure if you're talking to them or not, and gives you kind of a tentative smile and goes, "It's just a council meeting, dear. We have them every 2 weeks."
Oh, okay. Council meeting. Sorry, I'm not a local. I'm actually traveling with a few companions of mine, and didn't realize that it was tonight. I've heard of your council meetings, but speaking of which, I have seemed to have lost my bodyguard, and he went off Well, one of them, I gave him the afternoon off so that he could get some snacks, and I could get some private time with my friends in the art district. And I lost him. I lost him. But I did see some indications that he might have headed this way, and I was just wondering, uh, since y'all seem to be very diligent citizens, if maybe you've seen him.
Um, the oldest of the women, she's bent with age, she's frail, and her voice is an outright cackle as she looks right at the second woman and goes, he called you nosy. she's just she is having a wonderful time. Her friend goes bright red in a way that lets you know that she has absolutely spent the entire afternoon watching every single person who has come in and out of this square.
Diligent citizens.
Diligent citizen.
And I just like, what eloquence you all have as I grin.
That oldest woman, she's a spitfire, and she looks right at you. She goes, she says, I grew up in the art guild. Um, and so she knows, she knows that one, you're probably not looking for a bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people coming out of the art district, unless you are famous enough that they would know you, you're an artist, you can't afford a bodyguard. However, Nana thinks you're looking for trade. Nana thinks that you are trying to discreetly ask where your boyfriend is.
Yeah.
Because, the Earth
Body
Kingdom
girls, boyfriends, yeah, it's all the same.
the Earth Kingdom doesn't care, but people have heard some rumors that people are getting funny about that shit in the Fire Nation.
It's a little funny,
Some
yeah.
people are kind of watching how they talk. It's wild. No one's given a shit for 200 years, and now people are talking. Whatever.
Anyway.
Granny doesn't have time for it.
Yeah, I don't have time for it either. Anyway, Granny. What's up? How's it going?
So she leans in and she goes about this big. And she's gesturing to the length of his shoulders, but she also gives you this is someone's nastiest grandma. She's so funny. She's everyone's favorite Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because she gives you an accurate measurement of Lothang's shoulder width. But she also
it's probably the one local that she didn't see today. Yep. And I was like, and I put I think Lofong is actually wider than me, but shorter than me. So I and about yay high, dark hair, beautiful green eyes, little scar on his lip.
She leans in. She goes, "Well, sweetheart, I didn't get close enough to see his lips, but
you should have."
I hope you do not mind pointy little old lady elbows, because you catch one right to the side. She thinks you're fucking hilarious. And
yep, because I am.
You're very tall, so you actually catch it right to the
in my kidney.
She's like, he must have been waiting for you. He was at that tea house for hours. And she points across the street to the correct tea house. And goes, maybe someone there knows where he went.
My thanks, my lady. I will take my leave. Enjoy your town meeting. And I do a little gracious bow to every one of them. And, Woon can probably see me just fine, or Wong can see me just fine. And I'm gonna start walking my way, and I'm gonna make my little head nod towards the tea house.
All right. Wong, what have you been looking into while Kai's been talking to these old ladies and this one gentleman?
You said that this was kind of where the upper class business market starts meeting the houses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm probably casually browsing some stalls and markets and stuff like that. If there's any younger kids that might not be well off, that might be looking to pick some pockets around, I might be trying to catch their attention. see if they saw anyone not so fancy looking up in this direction.
There are not. In fact, you are surprised by how few, like, you stand out. No one's really dirty looking you, like ready to chase you off, but people are definitely noticing you, and stall keepers are watching their stalls as you come closer. Like, this is a town that's not going to be like, you're a crook, get out of here, but it is a town that goes, I know a crook when I see one.
That's
Be
fair.
faster than me.
In that case, since I don't see any little rascals, like maybe not the first one, but like after I notice that people are staring at me and like just keeping an eye on me, I want to look at one of the stall keepers, look them right in the eye, and be like, "You see anyone else that has looked out of place like me that should not be around here?" Friend wandered off, wasn't feeling well, and I don't think they were really watching where they were going.
So let's do this one randomly. I don't know. Let's see if Stallkeeper did see him. Why don't you roll for me and roll? Let's push your luck.
Push
So
your
roll with
luck.
passion.
I just upped my passion this past session. So
Woo
let's
woo.
go. Mixed success.
Okay. So the person at the stall just kind of looks at you and goes and shrugs. They're like, "We're market. It's market day. I don't know. I've seen like four or five. I've seen like 4 or 5 people running errands for their masters and their employers. Could have been any of them." And he turns away, but the person next in the stall next to him does look at you and go, "Do you got anything better to go on?"
Taller than me by several inches, dark hair, scar on the lip. Looks like a bodyguard.
Um, they shrug and they're like, "Maybe." A couple hours ago, maybe I did see someone kind of that description over by the shrine, but like they just passed out the corner of my eye. They walked by, I don't know when, and I don't know when they left.
I'm better off than I was 5 minutes ago, so I appreciate it. I'll just give a little nod, catch Kayim's eye at some point when I'm done with my conversation and they're done with his conversation, and then rendezvous at the shop at some point. But if that conversation isn't done yet, by the time I'm done with mine, I will mosey over to that shrine.
Okay. That conversation is not done. They're taking their sweet freaking time. So Nan is too
Kayim
busy making
schmoozing.
dirty jokes. Kayim schmoozing. Nan is making dirty jokes. They're having a blast. So you should probably just head over towards that shrine. It's not exceedingly big, as I said before. It's surprisingly humble to be in such an upper class district, but it's very well kept. The calligraphy on it is crisp, it's clear, it's very well maintained, and it lists off the name of a very important founding member of the original town charter as it now works between the markets and the upper class and quite frankly the Dauphin. And it was set up by someone who at one point was an earth sage. He retired. He had resettled in Gowling with his family. It was himself, his wife, their middle son, his wife, and their children. Like, it was a multi generational family. They were doing quite well. They were pillars of the community. And you can see that they are still well thought of just in the care that has been taken in this shrine, the fact that there are still flowers down. Um, what do you want to do?
Is there like a shrine keeper that is like tasked to like take care of it and make sure it's clean?
There is not. This is done regularly by a couple people in town. Um, there may be some clues if you want to explore around closer, or you can just head and the hell is that? Or you can just head and meet Kayam at the shop.
Yeah, I think while Kayam is still having that conversation, I'm gonna just look around, respectfully look at the engravings and the calligraphy on the shrine, give a small nod of respect because this is obviously something bad happened to these folks, and uh, folks are giving their respects to them. So I'm just gonna walk around and just keep an eye out for people, like if anyone's shifty, and just like look around in general for clues.
Okay. If you're gonna check around for clues, why don't you assess the situation for me?
Sure, I can do that. I am gonna roll creativity. Da-da-da-da-da. I got a full success, and also I can ask an additional question due to one of my playbook moves.
That's right. It's case in the joint, right?
Yeah, casing the joint.
Yeah. Look at
But
that.
I'll start with the basic moves because the casing the joint ones are really selfish.
Okay.
Let's see. Basic moves. I get to ask to and take a +1 ongoing when acting on the answers. I think my first question is going to be who or what is in the greatest danger?
Honestly, you are the greatest danger in this area. At the right now, there is no one here. Um, that there's no one here more dangerous than you anywhere near this shrine. Um, that said, should you do anything untoward or disrespectful, you would find that very quickly the greatest danger would be how quickly the local police force. They're a security detail. They're not an official police force. They are put together by the town council from all three places: board second sons, Dauphin members, and hired mercenaries. You don't want them calling these cops.
Okay, so stay away from the cops. My second question is going to be um, what here can I use to get a hint of where I can find Lo Fong?
So if you look a little bit closer towards the base, if you walk towards the shrine a little bit closer to read the inscriptions, you will see that it talks about how the town still mourns the savage and brutal murder of this entire family, all wiped out in one night by a coward who just came in and out of the darkness. No one knows who. So as you lean closer to read that inscription, if you look down, you'll see that it looks like there's maybe been either someone was drunk or maybe there was a scuffle, but someone has trampled some flowers at the base of this.
Okay, scuffle and flowers. And then my casing the joint question. What here is the most valuable or interesting to me? Focusing on interesting because I'm not going to take anything from here in terms of valuables.
The most interesting thing to you is if you look down at those trampled flowers, they're very red, and you can actually see, at least for a couple steps, whatever foot trampled them managed to smear the color. So it points you towards the housing in this upper district for at least two steps. It looks like you can see three different feet, two of which are moving long, fast steps, and one of which looks like it might be dragging a little bit.
At that, I'd like to just do a quick glance around, and then swipe one of those flowers that I suspect has blood on it.
Okay.
Just like a single flower. I don't need a lot. Just maybe like one of the trampled ones.
All right, push your luck though, because you're stealing from a
Well,
shrine.
well, that's a bad habit. So would you say
Oh, that's
rely on
right.
your
That is a.
skills?
Yes. If focus is better than your passion, you can rely on your skills and
It's
training.
actually not. My passion is better.
Do you want to push your luck, or do you want to rely on your skills and training?
I think I'll push my luck.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna use one of my forwards to bring that to a mixed success.
Okay. Um.
I'm like bending down, like making it look like I'm trying to make this more presentable because they are trampled flowers.
Okay. Good. So someone does see you. They walk over because they don't know who you are. Why is a stranger from out of town? What on earth would you care about the shrine? And they are walking over a little bit huffy and a little bit aggressively, but just the movement of your hands as you're rearranging those, it they get close enough that it becomes obvious that it doesn't look like you're taking flowers. It looks like you are fixing knock to skew flowers.
Yeah.
It's enough that they just kind of give you the nod and keep going. So you are able to get the flower.
Yeah, I will take that. And then finally look back and be like, okay, it looks like Kayam's done schmoozing.
Yep.
All right.
This is when you see the nod, like, yo, tea house, let's go.
So I'm gonna let you two head for that tea house, and I'm gonna go check in on Mr. Kim real quick and see how he's doing.
Let's do it.
So Mr. Kim, you've got to get to your uncle's house. It's still about half an hour before you're expected, but you have to get there. I'm sure you'd rather get there early than late. He lives in, like, you technically are going north as well, but you're taking a different path north. You're bypassing the marketing side completely. You're going right to the really nice fucking neighborhoods. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your walk and what else going on with you?
Okay, so there's not that much to be done for the state of my clothes. I can address my hair to a point, but there's no two ways about it. I look more than a little bit shabby, but class is more than clothing. Class is more than dirt. I am Kim Ji-woon, and I carry myself appropriately. And if Boomy is going to recognize me and take me seriously, it is Kim Ji-woon he will meet.
All right. So essentially, you are trying to hype yourself way the fuck up on this whole walk. Okay. So I'm just gonna have you roll one time, just real quick. Do you actually? Let's just make sure. Do you actually know where your uncle lives, or do you have a rough guess where your uncle lives?
I think the last time Kim was here was something like 4, 5, 6. Like he's pretty sure he knows. He's pretty sure he remembers this. He remembers that area very well. And that was like a foot and a half ago. So I think frankly, it's an open question.
Well, why don't you? No, I'm gonna need you to rely on your skills and training. Let's check your memory. Please roll
Right.
with focus.
Focus. Holy.
Nice. You have a very clear memory, in fact, of riding in the palanquin with your family, and it was later than now. You guys got there past dinner. It was right on the edge of bedtime. You should have been asleep, but you weren't. And you remember the way that this street looked lit up at night. You remember the glint of the lamp on the ornate, gorgeous scroll work design of the metal in his gates, and you know that you are going in the right direction. You recognize the street, the gate, the house the second you lay your eyes on him. So you go directly up to the front gate, and the person there seems to be expecting you. They look you up and down. They don't. They're too well trained to give you a smirk, to give you an anything. They just look you up and down and open the door and let you in.
Uh, and I'm not gonna give them anything back, because until I have been established, I cannot uh, fairly demand the respect I am owed, especially not in especially not in Boomy's territory. That would be disrespectful, and I am not. But they'll get it. They'll get it.
Okay. Um, there is there is a there's a younger boy. He's not old enough to be a man. He's not as old as you. It's like a young teenager. He's younger than a honey. And he is waiting. He has on his best manners. You think he might be like a second or third cousin. If he is, he's one of the ones that you ain't never met him. You've possibly heard their name. Uh, like they're so far outside your branch of the family that it's not required by your father that you know their name. Um, that said, maybe, but your mother has definitely told you their name a couple times because she's like, I know you don't have to, but good manners, sweetheart. And so they may or may not recognize you, just like you may or may not recognize them. Like I said, you've only seen each other once or twice in your whole life. What do you think? Do you recognize each other? Do you want to roll to find out, or is the answer just no?
I think the answer is without question. They do not recognize the person walking in. Like I think they at least know of Kim Ji Woon, like a Fire Nation, and they know Kim Ji Woon is a Fire Nation. But Kim Kim Ji Woon's got money. Like Kim Ji Woon, like he would not walk in dressed like that. Would not walk in like this. Like whatever like distant twinge of recognition there might be, fully ignored. I think Kim uh, Kim tries to please parents, so I think he actually does remember them, and takes a couple of seconds for the name to click, but eventually does. That name, I think, to me, it feels like a genre.
Jean?
A genre.
Okay.
Zhang. Yeah.
Okay. So Jean looks you up and down, and they snort. If they were older, they would have had some, self control, but they can't. They look right at you. They go, "My cousin has drip." Like he just tells you, "No, you don't even know enough to dress like my cousin."
And like yeah, it's turn like a turn a little bit to fully face them. Um, if I am not Kim Ji Woon, then who, little Zhang, am I?
All right. Let's see. Push your luck real quick. Let's see how Zhang reacts to that. Because you called him Little Zhang in his
Yep.
house where he's trying to be a man.
White hot tonight.
Nice. Look at you. You sure are. Okay. So It is. Look, you have talked this way since you were like 9 years old. We think it's funny now. Have you ever heard a 9-year-old talk, say their name the way the Kim Ji Woon says his name? Okay, he automatically goes, "What happened to you?" Like he
Kids
is
are
he's
savage.
giving you the business today, Mr. Kim. You getting clowned. But he does throw his arm around you as he's laughing. He's like, "Oh, Grandpa's gonna love this."
Kids are the worst and the best.
It's true.
Long story. Had to get down a hill. Very steep.
Like, that's the reason you look like absolute fucking poverty. I had to go down a steep hill.
And totally not, and your clothes changed from fancy Fire Nation to like ratty Earth Kingdom. Totally.
So Zhang leads you through a couple, he leads you through a couple halls to the main dining area where your great uncle Boomy is waiting. Now, this is your grandfather's, this is his baby brother. Um, and Boomy is just at, he's at a lounge. He's got on, I mean, his clothes, even for a member of the Jiwoon clan, his Boomy dresses. His stuff is all custom tailored. It's all cutting edge. In Bossing Say, he would be fashionable, and out here in Gowling, he's just too cool for no reason. His nails are long enough that you can tell Boomy hasn't had to do a lick of work as long as he ain't want. His nails are about as long as mine, and every other one is gold leafed. Boomy looks like he's too soft to fuck you up until you look in his eyes. And he smiles at you and he goes, "The fuck have you been doing?" But he throws his arms wide like he recognizes you on sight. As far as he's concerned, you look exactly like you did the last time he saw you. Which, by the way, the last time he saw you, you were dirty too because you got in trouble because you got pushed down that hill. You and your cousin was wrestling, not Zhang, one of the big ones. So the last time he saw you, you looked dirty too. He recognized you off the bat.
And Kim remembers each and every one of his scoldings in excruciating detail. So like, yeah, as he bows respectfully, perhaps it will not surprise honored Uncle Boomy to learn that once more I had to find my way down a very steep hill.
um, he slaps his hand on his knee. He bends over. He's greatly enjoying this. He goes, "Zhang, please take your honored and respected older cousin upstairs. Let him get dressed. Let him get cleaned up. Uh, and let us sit down and have a little bit of a talk as a family before I have to go. I do have to sit on a council meeting in about an hour and a half. But until then, you have my attention. Tell me, once you're presentable, please tell me how you came to fall down another hill." And he shoos you and Zhang out the room, and Zhang takes you, upstairs to a very plush, very comfortable, well-appointed guest room. It is it's exactly what you're expecting. It's what your family is used to. It is larger than the entire apartment you were renting in Chime. Gorgeous little room. He sets you in. What do you want to do, Mr. Kim?
Right. Okay. So first thing to do is clean some of this dirt off, and then we're gonna have to get dressed. We can't get dressed traditionally. gotta be a little bit prudent. So, Earth, close up Earth nobility, class, class, class respectability.
Okay. So there are while there are lots of there's an eclectic mix. The whole family really likes to the family branch in Gowling is just sharp. They are ahead of their time. And so there are enough Fire Nation pieces that they fully expect anytime their Fire Nation branch of the family visits, you can dress comfortably. Um, so Zhang is very surprised to see you coming out in head to toe Earth Kingdom gear. I mean, you look great. You look great, but it's not what they were expecting. And your great uncle Boomy lifts an eyebrow slowly. Now you really have his attention when you walk into the room dressed like that.
And take, take my seat, observe proper procedures, as it were. And then when it's finally time for me to start speaking, the butte about 40 minutes out. There's uh, some fugitives back that way. Fugitives from the Fire Nation. Fugitives whose number I am part of. I'm sure you will hear when the news eventually makes its way. The reason I am part of that number is because evidently Fire Lord Sozin has seen fit to remove the air nomads.
So your great uncle leans forward, and Zhang has excused himself. It's just the two of you in the room. And he kind of leans forward. He goes, now, when you say remove the air nomads, he finally got rid of his sister and her monk husband and their little band. There was an uprising on Ember Island.
I suspect that Her Highness and their family are in a much more precarious position because when I say remove, I mean that I am with the only air nomads uh, left of the Eastern Air Temple.
Boomy was reaching for his cup, and he has it doesn't break because he hadn't lifted it from the table far, but it slides out of his fingers and clatters on the table. The ceramic is thin; you can hear it ringing in the silence as he looks at you with narrow eyes, and he says, "Say that again, slower." I mean, he doesn't actually want you to say it slower, but he wants to confirm that you just told him that all of the air nomads in the Eastern Temple have been murdered by the Fire Nation.
On the day of the comet, Fire Nation ship came in, locked the port down, locked the city down, and I do not know exactly how they went about what they did, but about a little under a dozen survived. None of them above, none of them at or above the age of majority. And considering how thorough they were, I am uncomfortably certain that this was not an isolated atrocity.
So here's the thing: your uncle is a canny old man, and he's very quiet right now as he stops and he thinks, and he looks you up and down, and he goes, "No one's gonna believe that." He doesn't tell you he doesn't believe you, but he very clearly tells you no one is going to believe that.
I got one of their soldiers.
And his face becomes more serious as he tells you you have an AWOL defector.
Tenet, Fire Nation proper. Born, raised, trained, participated.
And he shakes his head. You are you are not getting what he's telling you, which is that, bless your heart, he doesn't care what evidence you have at the moment. There is nothing. He's telling you right now there is nothing you're going to be able to bring to the world by yourself. Um, Saying that you were in Chime and you have some survivors from the Eastern Air Temple, until more people have verified what's going on, you are telling the weirdest, most terrible, most unfunny practical joke you have. Even if you walk in with those children right now, you walk in with those children, you walk in with Bao, and he tells you this very plainly. He can bring you to the council tonight. In fact, he is going to invite you, not the children, not your little Fire Nation friend. He is going to invite you to the council tonight, after the town council meeting. He's real serious as he says after. He wants you to talk to the rest of the town councilors, but he's warning you that people are gonna have to notice there are no air nomads before they're even gonna start to believe the story.
And I'm gonna divert for a second. Woon, remind me, did you mention finding those scrolls from the like that bloody scroll from the other temple to the rest of the group?
Oh, I can't remember.
Just say
I don't think
yes.
I did.
Okay.
I don't think I did because
Yeah.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for Lo Fong to come, and I can just tell you all at once.
Mhm.
Okay. See that now. So Kim's definitely not a mind reader, nor is he especially curious. So doesn't know. Kim, like he's Kim's clearly unhappy, but for one thing, like this is this is a positive reception from family, which is frankly a little bit more than he's expecting. Uh, so he's willing to just all right, Uncle, if you're sure.
He's gonna stand up and he'll put his hand on your shoulder real heavy. He'll kind of give you a tight squeeze and he'll say, I hope you're crazy, Kim. I hope you are deeply unwell, but I know you're not. And I know you're not lying to me. And I'm real sorry that you're going to have to do this over and over again. Because not everyone's your uncle. And this is a hell of a story you're telling. I'll be right back. And he pats you twice on the shoulder and he walks out of the room. What do you want to do? You're alone in what is essentially his. Where the hell did I say y'all? You're in his office. You're in his office. I don't remember where I said you guys were.
Deep breath out. Deep breath in. All right, let's do a little walkabout. No, I'm gonna be here for a little bit. I mean, at least get a feeling for who's about. See if perhaps Song was listening. See if perhaps that lady with the rings about.
Okay. So you wander around. You do leave your great uncle Boomy's office. He didn't tell you you couldn't. You know, your family. He would have told you not to leave if he wanted you to not leave. So, but you don't go far. There's a little anti courtyard right out behind his office. And so, just respectfully, to really kind of be like, you know what, just so you know I'm not going through your shit, I shall respectfully go enjoy the night air in your courtyard. And as you step out there, you encounter the woman from the stall. She is okay. So, your great uncle Boomy had two wives. His first wife died like 35 years ago, and his second wife died like 4 years ago. This is the sister of his first wife, who was the best friend of his second wife. She's his sister in law once removed, but she doesn't have any other family. She stays with Boomy. You have a big, weird family, and they're real good friends. Like they're not good friends. They happen to legitimately be good friends. And so they keep each other company in their old age and they spoil their grandkids and they do old people crimes, which are regular crimes, but you get away with them because you sit there and you go, I couldn't possibly have done that. I'm old.
God, like,
I
what are you
don't
gonna do?
You're
Just throw
remember
him in
doing
jail
that. I'm
forever?
so old.
I couldn't possibly have done. Look, that requires fresh knees and a good back. And do you see how long and beautiful and unchipped my nails are? Wasn't me. I didn't do it. Go away. I'm old. I don't want to fuck with you. Like they be having a great time with it. So we're so she's out in the garden. She is also taking in the night air. She looks at you and she goes, so where's your handsome husband?
Doubtless moved on to some artist.
And she laughs at you. She laughs in a way that makes it obvious she knows that was not your husband. She doesn't actually care where he is. You know, she's making conversation. She goes, you, but those were children's hats. You you traveling with a you are though? Do you have children? You didn't bring them to see your uncle?
I he makes the oddest face because I think this is finally the time where nearly 20 Kim Jong Un considers, wait a minute, perhaps that 2-year-old is really attached, uh, and so he kind of like he kind of frowns. Maybe what yes, I am traveling with children. I am pretty sure that you'll like my hat. But not I don't have a lover or a mistress. Wait a minute, those are the same thing.
She laughs at you and she takes your hand. She pats you on the back of the hand and she goes, you know, the family can be made in a lot of weird ways. And she'll tuck her hand in your elbow and she'll walk with you and she'll be like, Boomy and I aren't related by anything other than a lot of history, but he is very much my family, which means that you are very much my family, which means I'm here to help you and your little husband who is not your husband and your children who are not your children. Um, and her bracelets are jingling and she goes, Boom, you understand that I was listening to you, right? And she taps her feet against the ground and you notice that you are on a very specific type of brick. Your father had told you to what your father has told you about how tricky your great uncle can be. And he has told you that earthbenders sometimes use a very particular style of brick that has hollow tubes running through it so that they can feel vibrations. And the most sensitive and talented earthbenders can overhear your conversation if they follow that brick. And she thumps her feet, and you hear that hollow sound.
Hey,
She goes, "So I'm going to assume that your children," and she puts that emphasis again on your children, "are those survivors."
you would assume correctly.
Um, she goes, "You were right not to bring them into town. There are elements here. No one hates air nomads, but there are certainly elements here who would never protest against the Fire Lord. They do too much business in the Fire Nation. It In the long term, we're far from any of the air temples. We see a dozen air nomads a year. There are people who just will there are just people who would not argue for it. You will have a hard time tonight at the council. I need you to take that fighting spirit that I know all of you G wounds have, and I need you to muster it. I need you to hold it tight inside you. Don't let it burn out of control, because if you do, you will lose control of that conversation and they will run you out like a silly, chattering child. All right?
Yes.
Good. Now, let's go have some tea. And she's going to go ahead and lead you back through a different portion of the room. And now that you know to listen for it, you realize that there are paths. They're not always in the same part of the floor, but there are paths in every single room of your great uncle's mansion where one talented earthbender can stand and listen to conversations being held in different areas of the house throughout the entire building. And so she leads you through hallways, booby trapped with these eavesdropping floors, until you get to the main dining hall. She sets you down. The family is there. Like, there's a whole bunch of people. There's some cousins you haven't seen. There's your uncle. Well, no, he's not your uncle. He's your fuck it. There's great Uncle Boomy's youngest son. There's his wife. There's kids. There's the friends. Like, it's a full table, and everyone is very glad to see you. Um, you are, for a moment, fully safe and embraced in your family's love.
Nice.
Okay. So while Mr. Kim is perfectly safe and healthy and nobody's bothering him, let's do a real quick check in again with Kaim and Wong. You guys are at the tea shop. Did you take a seat? What are you doing?
I mean, I don't know about you, but we're not. My instant thing is you see if Lofong is in this building. Like,
Right, yeah. I don't take a seat. I don't
Yeah.
plan on trying to get stuck here getting roped into buying a lot of tea and pastries.
yeah. And I mean, assuming that he is not here, I will beeline to the counter to talk to whoever's working, because if someone has seen him, it is whoever is working.
Okay, he is not there. There
Yeah.
are a couple little private rooms, but they are closed. The lights aren't on in them. There's no sound from them. Nobody's using them. And in the main room itself, there are a couple occupied tables. There's some that look like they've been cleared off recently. Lofong, you can't see Lofong. He's not
Yeah.
in the tea shop.
I don't go in with Kayam. I actually stay outside with leaning up against the wall with my arms crossed, waiting for them to do their talking.
Gotcha.
So then, but when I do catch eyes with you and
Mhm.
you go, we deviate. I do look like I have something to say. So
I'll pause and see if you have anything to say.
Yeah.
Like, you okay?
I just kind of like hold out the flower, very obviously showing you that it's not meant. No, don't give me that kind of look.
And I just like, for me?
Do you want a bloody flower?
Yes.
All right. Regardless, there's blood on it, and
Oh.
I don't think that just happens randomly. So
Oh.
I don't know if it's Lofong's, but it might not be a bad idea to check out the direction that was leading. I also found footprints and drag marks, but no way to tell if it's him, but it's a start of something odd.
Well, then before I even, like, I take the flower, and, what, is there anything I can do with, I can't really, like, I'm not a bloodhound. Like, not a bloodhound.
Can you like tell if this is his blood?
Maybe. I might. Have I smelled have I been in the presence of Lofong bleeding before? I can't remember.
No, you guys were so fast and
Yeah.
definitive in your only
Mhm.
battle when you guys popped up. There was no blood. Somebody threw a whole ass tree, Kyle.
Yeah, I did
That
throw a whole
eliminated-
tree.
That
Yeah,
eliminated a whole bunch of bloodshed right there.
that is true. I did throw a whole ass tree. But you know, if I can make an assess the situation or a license skills and training roll, if you'll let me, I'd be down to if there's any clues on this blood that it might be Lofong. I don't know.
So
it's water. Is it dry?
Tap into it.
it is. It is dry.
Okay.
It's not 100% dry, but it's tacky and it's dark.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's
Here's what you're gonna
coagulating.
do. It is so. This is such a far fetch. You're gonna have to push your luck.
Yeah, I want to specifically roll, not necessarily see if it's Lofong's, now that you said that it's coagulating, because I don't think there's any way I can actually tell who it belongs to, but I do want to make a roll on how long ago this dripped on, like a pathology roll, we'll say. Is that still
All
a
right,
push your luck?
Dexter. Let's do this shit.
Is that still a push your luck, or would it be like
Yeah,
a skills and
it's
training?
still
Okay.
No, that's a push your luck. That's some bullshit. Let's
Okay.
do this.
No, it's some bullshit. What status push your luck? Just out of
push your luck is
Passion.
passion. Oh,
Thank you,
that's
passion.
I'm pretty good with the passion. I have a 0 on passion. It's not pretty good. It's okay. Woof. Okay. Let's see if I have anything that adds to that in my moves. But I don't think something does. Nope, it's a 4. I was like, this bled. This is, I don't even know if it's a person. It's red.
Yeah. How about you go in and talk to the tea shop owner, the hostess, and go back and check that out.
Growth progress, though.
Did
Nice.
Did Kim Ji-woon say when he was gonna get back?
He was gonna go meet with a
meeting?
relative, and I'm assuming, if anything, that relative, if everyone is going to that town meeting later, and if his relative is as important as I think it is, he will be there too, so maybe around town meeting time.
Great. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna mosey inside that tea shop, and Lo Fong not fucking there. Go move forward to the. Oh, and I take the before I go, I take the rose or the flower. What kind of flower is it?
It is. I don't know. It's red. It's geraniums. Here's the thing. It's a handful of like geraniums, and they were they were in a bouquet at the
Yeah.
base of that shrine.
Mm-hmm.
They had been trampled in such a way that there is one, a little bit of blood on them, and two, some of them have been crushed. So there's tracks of
Yeah.
red flower juice and blood, 3 steps worth of tracks, and then they're gone.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take before I go in, I'll take a little bit of water and I'll like rinse off the blood from this flower. I will trim it to a short stem, and then I will gingerly place it in Wong's hair before I go inside. And I'll be like, there,
Like-
you look better.
Like immediately flustered and just just stop. They're just stunned while you go turn around to go back inside.
Just like tucks it like behind your ear and like goes inside.
Are they?
Alright. So inside
Mhm.
there's an older woman in, she's in like her 40s. She probably owns the place, but if so,
Mhm.
she hasn't owned it long. It's a family tea house. She's inherited it recently. She doesn't look too flustered. She's got this. She has
Yeah.
the rhythm of running a tea shop. And so she doesn't even really like, she looks up and greets you, but she's not really paying too much attention
Yeah.
to you as she's getting everything prepped, and goes, "How can I help you, dear?"
Yeah, actually, my apologies, not here for tea. I am looking for someone that I have misplaced. Definitely not a local. Big guy, scar on his lip, Earth Kingdom clothing. He probably sat here for a few hours, from what I understand.
Okay. Yeah, she nods. She recognizes him immediately, huffs a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. She's not mad, but she's a little annoyed. She's like, "Yeah, sat there about 3 hours. Bought 2 teas. Bless his heart, though. I could not drive him out. He looked hurt. But he left. He's been gone a while now.
About how long is a while? So he was there for 3 hours.
So
I haven't seen him for about 6, so...
he's been gone almost as long as he sat there. What you
Gotcha.
guys are discovering is that whenever Lo Fong disappeared, he didn't like just recently disappeared. It's starting to look like Lo Fong has been missing for about 3 hours now.
Gotcha. Like, there is an obvious look of concern. Did nobody talk to him? Did you see what direction he went to? He might have gone.
Um, so why don't you? Yeah. She looks at you and she looks you up and down. She stops doing what she's doing and really pays attention to you, and she looks sympathetic as she goes, "I'm sorry, honey. I saw him leave, but no, I got a whole shop to run, sweetheart. I didn't even look where he was going.
Okay.
I hope you find him though."
I'm going to give her some coin for her trouble. And what I want to do is, I haven't been quiet, so I sort of want to look up and I want to see if anyone is listening to our conversation.
Several people are listening to your conversation,
Uh huh.
but why don't you push your luck and let's see if anybody. Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Roll a cash.
I do have a
Do you?
I
What's
do
your
have a
thing?
roll called Suspicious Mind. It's like when you watch a person carefully to figure them out, roll with focus. And I'm watching several people, but I am being sus. Is what I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll suspicious mind. Let's roll focus instead.
Awesome. With focus, that would be because I got a +2, so that would be a 9 on my focus. So a 7 to 9. I hold 1, and I ask, and I get to ask like a single question, right? And there's a list of questions. Do you want me to use one of these questions on these people, or can I? How about this one? Can I reword how are they truly feeling by which person can I clock to see if they're listening more intently? That's what I would like to figure out. And I got a 9.
Okay,
So,
So you see that there's like 5 people close enough that they're listening. 3 of them are really listening though. Like they're not even pretending like they're not very interested in this. 2 of them are staring directly at you. One with a hard, suspicious look on their face. One just openly, just kind of smirky gossip, cannot wait to see what's going on. And then one who's watching you peripherally. They are very much deliberately not looking at you.
yeah. So they clocked me, I clocked them. I sort of look behind my shoulder, and I'm assuming Wong is still standing outside. And I sort of take that moment and I like breathe in. And I'm gonna go join these people at their table.
I just give you I'm like every once in a while looking to see you, and I'm just like, why are they going to sit down at the fucking table?
Yeah. And I know it's 4:30 right now. So.
Right? That's hilarious. So why don't I let you sit down at the table with them, and while everyone's wondering what on earth are you going to say to these strangers just trying to sip their tea, why don't we go take a 10-minute break?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. We will see you in about 10 minutes.
Bye.
Bye. And we're back. Hello, everyone. We're back live, and
Hi.
stuff's happening.
Hello.
We had snacks. We went to the bathroom and sneezed, as my allergies already want me to sneeze again, but it's okay. What's happening, Artica? What are we doing?
Okay, so that's a great question. You're the one who just sat yourself down at a table full of strangers. What you doing?
Yeah, I just sit in. I'm assuming like there's like one other chair, and if there's not, I'm gonna pull another chair to sit at the table with them and be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
So the one who was actively looking at you, just
Mhm.
nosy. He goes ahead and he leans forward. He's about your age.
Mhm.
Very well dressed. He's just he's a rich, nosy little gossip boy,
Mhm.
and he's cute. And he gives you a very flirty smile as he leans forward. He's like, "Hi."
Hi. And I almost kind of dismiss him a little bit with that hi, right? Because we're in some serious business here. I don't returned in kind, I'll put it to you that way. It's like, noticed you were listening about my friend. What do you know about it? Just directly fucking asking.
So he's a little taken aback. He's so used to he's pretty. This is not
Mm-hmm.
how other pretty people talk to him. But also the guy in the corner was, he was kind of good looking in a rough kind of way. So, you know what? Maybe everyone in town is gonna think that you and Lo Fong are fucking by the time you're done. The way
It's
you are
fine.
running around,
We might.
Everybody in town is just gonna think that Lo Fong has easy dick and that you are jealous the way you're running him down.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of sighs, just like, it's like, well, yeah, I was listening. I like gossip. Uh, I don't. Your friend, your friend left a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours ago, right as I was coming in. He looked distracted. I don't know. Maybe was he waiting for you? You didn't leave him hanging, did you?
Did he leave with anyone else? Or did you see anyone talk to him?
So at this point, the expression on the other two people at the table has changed.
Mm-hmm.
The first one who was looking at you kind of side-eyed now is completely uninterested.
Mm-hmm.
This absolutely just sounds like a little lover spat, and they absolutely do not care.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they legitimately angle themselves away from you guys a little bit to make sure that everyone understands they're not part of this conversation. They don't
Mm-hmm.
care that one of you is cheating on the other. And the one who was not looking at you is still very ostensibly not looking at you, but their shoulders have untensed.
Mm-hmm.
She's a younger woman, not quite as old as you and
Yeah.
the dude at the table, but still older than the rest of the group. She's like 25 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her hair is fairly short, fashionably short. It's a very chic cut. Um, in the Fire Nation, it would be like shockingly short, but it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just kind of staring into her tea, listening as the guy tells you that no, Lo Fong didn't leave with anybody. Nobody really came over and talked to him. He sat by himself. He stared out the window. Every so often, he kind of sighed or looked like he was snapping himself out of a deep thought, and then he got up and left.
Out of character, did he say his name?
He did not say his
Okay,
name.
I was about to be like, excuse me. And like upon that, I'm gonna look over at the young lady and I'd be, what about you? What do you know?
and she's gonna snort in her tea, and she'll be like, I know how to mind my own business."
Well, I'm allowing you into my business now. Just because you
And
minding it doesn't mean you didn't see it.
she looks at you and snorts and rolls her eyes, puts down the tea, and picks up an apron,
Mm-hmm.
ties her apron back on, and goes into an employee only door.
I follow her.
Wait, where are they going?
She just went into the back of the store.
Mhm.
Right now, the other woman has been minding the front where the tea
Mhm.
is made, but she's gone. This younger woman has gone into like a
Little mission.
storeroom, a little storeroom. She's
Mhm.
just getting away from Kyan. She's not like going anywhere. She's like, fuck this dude.
Yep.
Oh,
nope.
okay.
I'm
We're just
gonna.
employees only.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Hey,
Push your luck.
where
Huh?
are you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna push my luck. It's with passion,
like-
right?
Casually freaking
yes.
out. Where the
While
fuck are you
Wong
going?
is freaking out through the plate glass window.
It's a 10.
Just like a freaking like, what are you doing?
10.
Look.
Uh-huh. It's like
Okay.
she knows shit. I'm just I am on a mission, bro. like
So
I want to be like almost like on her heels, like, and see if I can't get ahead of her. Not physically with my body, but I would like a daikon to appear in front of her. like, with an angry face marked onto it.
Good reputation.
Just so that when
You're
she
fired.
turns away.
you're fired. So as this woman hustles through the employee only door and you are literally on her heels, she is absolutely ignoring you until you reach into your satchel, snatch out your most villainous daikon, and just kind of underhand wing it.
I don't even have to touch it. It can just float there.
Well, you got to get it fast enough to get in front of her, so you just kind of give
fair.
it one of those little woo. It
Yeah.
gets in front of her and floats up to eye level, which is enough to startle her that she comes to a hard stop, now stalled between you and a glaring daikon.
Yeah.
Why do I let you do
am
this shit?
like
This is
right
ridiculous.
behind her, and I'd be like, listen, it's not a spat. I'm worried for his safety. If you see anything, I need to know.
Okay. You are not expecting just the dirty, fiery, hateful look on her face as she whips around and puts her finger right in your chest and goes, I don't care if it's a spat or not. You know what I saw? I saw a fucking monster in my shop today. I hope he is in danger. I don't care where he went. And she slaps your daikon. She slaps your daikon against the wall.
She slaps it so hard its facial expression changes. Oh! And I'm like, a monster.
Your friend's a murderer. And she leaves the room.
Well then, this sounds like a time.
You hear some knocking on the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around like outside, my daikon like floating like right behind me, like kind of drooping, like its little leaves like drooping, and like follows me out, and I'll go out and I will once again like leave more in the tip jar for this poor woman, this poor girl, and make my way around back to Wong and just be like, well, I got something out of her.
Yeah, she looks freaking pissed.
She calls Lo Fang a monster. a murderer. And she hopes that he's dead.
To be fair, we don't know anything about him, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. And let's just keep trying to find him.
Right. And if she, and like walking and talking. And if she thinks that, and if she knows that, then there's other people here that know that too. And if you believe that someone is a murderous monster, and you see their face,
People get pissed and take matters into their own hands.
this definitely sounds like some upper level politic bullshit. Man, if only we knew somebody who had a hand.
Yeah. We're meeting him at the thing.
Yeah, that was
Great.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Okay, so
I'll meet you there, but I don't want to go to the meeting. I'm gonna be quite honest.
You could just stand outside while we find our Mr. Zuko.
All right. We go. We walk, talk.
Yeah, we head towards the square again, and hopefully keeping an eye out for Kim Ji-woon.
I have removed the flower from behind my ear and like put it in like a pocket.
I'm a little sad. You were very pretty.
You'll be okay.
I will find the strength to carry on. Yes.
So the market has the square has definitely picked up a crowd. At this point, it's no longer just the come-earlies trying to get their seat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a steady flow of people. Like, you are surprised at the amount of civic engagement taking place here.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because people don't normally give that much of a fuck, but also because the Earth Kingdom is literally infamous for having the worst systems of government on the planet. The Earth Kingdom is entirely too big to be properly governed, especially by a very locked in monarchy that does not travel. Um, and for the most part, towns like Gaoling tend to be run by crooks. They tend to be badly mismanaged.
Mm-hmm.
The people in them are tend to face really high levels of economic inequality. It tends to be just either you get yours or you don't.
So Louisiana.
But Gowling is running like one of the bigger cities, and like not one of the bigger Earth cities. Like, Gowling is working really well, and honestly, it is very much the addition of a criminal element that is keeping the place honest. Uncle Boomy and the two other Dao Fei members who sit on the council with him, they do a great job providing the find out of the fuck around. And as such, Gowling is booming, and people are glad to interact civically. So there is a decent sized crowd of people going in, merchants, poor people, people dressed in all kinds of clothing. So much so the first second you almost don't see Kim Ji-woon.
Right.
He's not in the clothes he was wearing when he left. In fact, it is very much he carries himself like every step announced, like he has a little voice box in his sneaker that says, "I am Kim Ji-woon" every time he steps down. If it was not for his distinctive walk, you wouldn't have clocked him. But there he is.
There he is.
With a pretty decent sized entourage, waiting by the front door. They definitely look like they're looking for someone.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of flavoring it to a point where Kayam, they are attempting to learn, because everybody's heart has its own rhythm, right? And so I'm trying to get it to where that Kayam is learning the rhythm of his companions. And he has actually spent the most time with Kim Ji Woon. So like I catch like that stoic flutter essentially. It's like, oh, and I like take a couple steps back. There you are. Found him.
Right. Is Kim Ji Woon like with anyone right now, or?
Yeah, Kim Ji Woon is he's with the family. He's with his young cousin Zhang. You don't know that's who it is, but he's with a younger guy about Ahani's age. He is with a really well-dressed, much older gentleman. It's like you don't even have to guess that's his Uncle Boomy. They look enough alike. He's old enough. He's obviously ridiculously rich. It's got to be Uncle Boomy. And he's with Kayam recognizes her, but you do not, the woman from the hat stall.
Oh. I was like, nice to see you again. Haven't given to the kids yet.
And she looks at you in a very knowing way and she goes, no, I'd imagine you have not. Hard to get out to Butte this time of night.
Yeah.
Her voice is quiet, but
so Kim.
His eyebrows just go up a little bit. Like,
We have a problem.
A really big one.
A new problem.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How many people are around, Arnica? How big's the crowd?
The crowd is sizable. There's like 150 people milling around. They're not paying attention to you really. You guys are kind of set off. People are giving, they're respectfully giving Uncle Boomy his space. Everyone in town knows Uncle Boomy.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
So people recognize that Boomy is talking to somebody. Leave him alone. So there's a small buffer of space around you guys. I wouldn't raise my voice too much though.
Yeah, so the problem is that people in town think that our friend Lo Fong is a murderous monster and has disappeared. It is 5 o'clock.
There was signs of a struggle, and while it doesn't look, there's nothing confirming it, I have a hunch that it's him who is struggling. Which is kind of terrifying because he is not a pushover.
No, definitely not.
And then Kim just frowns, inclines his head, fractionally towards Boomy. Did it wide shoulders, scar on the lip? Who would he cross?
So your uncle, he starts to shrug offhandedly, like, I don't know, man, I didn't pick up nobody today. But as you're describing Lo Fong, he kind of stops and he goes, actually, and disappears for a few minutes.
What a nimble old man.
Uncle Boomy needs to talk to somebody. He'll be back in a few minutes. He's going to check on an answer. So the rest of his family drifts away. They go to find their seats. Uncle Boomy will be back to find you before he goes to sit down at the council meeting. But right now, it's really just the three of you in kind of a secluded corner if the three of you need to talk privately.
Do we need to stay here?
I need to be here after, at least.
Family stuff?
Important stuff. This town is going to be one of the first. I got family here. And
First for what?
Well, you said that they were coming. That they're not. We're not. The Fire Nation isn't stopping.
Yeah.
So I'll have to make some claims, make some answers. Uncle Boomy tells me that I'm probably not going to be believed. We got Bao, but
It's just a matter of time before people believe it, to be quite honest. Whether they believe you now or later, this can't be hidden forever.
the kind of undeniable proof I think he's saying they'll need is the kind we can't exactly provide unless unless somebody wants to, I don't know, call down an expeditionary force.
All I got for proof that might not even be considered proof is bloody documents, bloody scrolls from the Northern tribe. By the way, the Northern is definitely the Northern Arrow Temple is.
That's he makes like the kind of face that you can tell that like the thought is like distasteful to him. Like that's useful. Do you have the scrolls?
I do, but I'm not going to pull them out right here, right now.
No. If there's somewhere if you could leave them with me, I can show them later.
As long as we get them back, I want to give them to Ahani.
They don't. It's not like people here need to keep them.
Yeah, I can leave them.
Okay. So while you guys are talking, Uncle Boomy shows back up, and he has a really serious look on his face, as he leans in, and his voice is very quiet. Um, like even with the lack of people around you, he does not want what he says next to you guys to be overheard. As he says, "There's rumors that your friend looks like someone who was involved in the murder of our high council member 8 years ago."
Wait, that monument? Not too far away?
And he nods at you.
I don't think him ever actually entered that part of town. I was like, at best, that's an unfamiliar thing he saw from a very far distance. So he just kind of looks confused. Like,
8 years ago, Lafong would have been a child.
Lofong would have been a young teenager, about 14, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but some people look similar. He looks similar enough.
Well,
The height, the scar, he looks like someone who was here roughly 8 years ago, who committed a murder. A very serious murder. Series of murders. Mass murder.
Child or not, I'm going to not discount a child's abilities. Ahani's a child.
Right. Just making an observation out loud. Sorry. Uncle Boonimi, hi. Kayam, nice to meet you. Where would somebody take him? If that was the case.
How about, where would someone take him in? And then I mentioned the direction of where I saw the drag marks. In that direction.
Boomy kind of shrugs. He goes, "I don't know who would take him. Whoever it was, I hope it wasn't your friend. I hope your friend was a good child, off doing good child things. But whoever it was that night was thorough. There is not a single member of the family left. Everyone, from the high council member to the smallest grandchild in his house, was killed that night." Just one or two servants survived.
I hope that it wasn't him either.
Is that family's old house in that direction?
Um, he shrugs at you and he goes, "The what's left of it burned."
Storage rooms seem to take, like I'm looking at my companions, storage room can survive fire since they're underground.
Depends on where the burn starts.
Mm-hmm. It's a good place to start.
Yeah. I can. Honestly, I don't want to stick around for the meeting, so I can start looking around if you need to stay here, Kim Ji-woon, and Kaim, I don't know where you want to go, but
Oh, I'm going to look for our friend. He has the largest transportation. And regardless if it was him or not, what we do know about him now, he's a good adult.
yeah. Okay.
So Boomy puts his hand on your shoulder, Mr. Kim, and he looks at you and he goes, "If you go with them, I might not be able to get you in front of the council tonight. Where are you going to be?"
Here, I trust them, and
You get a look at that?
and he looks back. He seems like vaguely confused. You would be surprised by that statement. And I trust him. Whoever made an assumption and dragged off my associate they got lucky once. I don't think they'll get lucky. I don't think they'll get lucky twice.
Okay. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and let Mr. Kim and his uncle head into the council hall. They've got about so you guys have about 90 minutes right now. Assuming that nobody has a bunch of persnickety questions at the end, a council meeting tends to run for about 90 minutes.
I
And as Mr. Kim goes in, you guys cannot see who's watching you, but there is very definitively the weight of eyes on the back of your backs as you walk away.
Before Kim Ji-woon does finish walking away, I just kind of put my hand on his shoulder like to stop him. Hey.
Yeah,
And I'm just like try to keep my back to the crowd, but I'll like start rummaging through my pack to grab those scrolls and just kind of like put them in your arms.
All right. The adventures of Kain and Woon continue. Wong, continue.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So
My daikon has been floating this whole time. He never went back into the bag.
What facial expression does he have now?
It's like his little, it's like a whoo, and his little leaves are like whoo, like
I love him.
strong. Yeah.
he feels super mighty. He's got this.
Let's go.
Alright, so you guys head towards the far north side of town. And it's not where the biggest, flashiest houses are, but it's where some really old, nice buildings are. Some of these buildings, you swear to God, like, obviously not the whole thing, but they've been, like, these are old family houses that have been built onto over time into something really grand. Some of them, the first flagstones may have been laid right around the time they were building walls in Omashu. Like this is not a new town. It's an old town. It's grown steadily. Maybe in 50 or so years, it'll be its own. It'll be a city in its own right, but it's not quite there yet.
Mhm.
So it's a gorgeous neighborhood and it's quite late. There's nobody out, there's no one looking around. Anybody in this neighborhood is either at the town council meeting or is tucked away, doing their getting ready for bed stuff. They're not in bed yet, but they're not paying attention to people on the street. So you certainly can go ahead. You don't have to try to blend in. You can take your time kind of walking down, looking around, exploring this neighborhood.
Where we start?
Like I said, I think maybe going to the old house, the old estate. It might be our best, um, our best bet.
Arnica, was this the same direction where the drag marks were going?
Yes, you guys are heading in that direction. This is really one of only two neighborhoods in the direction of those drag marks, and it's the only one that is connected to the shrine. So odds are really, really good. You're going in the right way.
In
Okay.
that case, I'd like to keep an eye out, one, for more drag marks. And if I don't see drag marks, I'm keeping an eye out for blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you guys walk, there's not a lot of signs on the ground. Um, if there was whatever happened to make those signs of a struggle, like either they came a different route or I don't know, maybe it wasn't a struggle. Maybe someone got hurt and Lo Fong was helping them because there's not like blood on the street. There's not a whole bunch of broken branches and dramatic. It's a quiet, nice neighborhood. You don't really see anything as you're walking through until you get a little bit closer to the burnt out house. Um, Once you guys get closer to the burnt out house, you can see that people, the neighbors keep up the land around it.
Mm-hmm.
They make sure that the outside of the walls haven't fallen, like the property walls, not the building walls. The property walls haven't fallen down. Maybe, I don't know what they think is going to happen to it. There's no one left to rehab it. There's no one's going to come claim it. The family is gone, but the house remains. And here you can see that the gate has been moved. The gate has been opened recently. You don't know if this is unusual or not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people come in all the time to do caretaking stuff, but it's definitely been moved recently because you can see that there's grass that's been bent and leaves that have been moved.
When we sort of stop at the gate, I'm just gonna like put my hands around the bar, and I'd like to close my eyes, and I want to use the move Wait and Listen, which is when you assess a situation while taking the time to use your extraordinary skills to absorb hidden or deep information, you mark fatigue and you roll with focus instead of creativity. I am specifically listening for or trying to suss out if there is any signs of human life on these grounds or under them. Like this, the sound that water makes in your body when it is moving.
Okay, roll for me. Let's see.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah, bro. Jesus Christ. There's a 13.
Hell yeah.
6 and a 5 with an 11 plus 2. Let's go. Like our little doctor man here with his little psychic
Look at you.
abilities.
So good.
Don't mind me. I'm styling my giant.
Go
bonnet.
ahead.
Look at that. So a 13, fantastic. You do hear signs of life. It takes you a minute, and in fact, you hear a lot of things you really have to filter out.
Mm-hmm.
So for a minute, you get very deep into it. You can feel the animals, the night animals that are going through, scavenging, the ones that have nested in the house. Um, and for a moment, that's all you feel. But as you push a little bit deeper, just in case, you do notice that you can hear, you can feel masses approximately human size. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably humans. Either that, maybe it might be some platypus bears, but unlikely. It's probably humans. Uh, there's like 5 of them somewhere on the property underground.
Okay. Can I have two questions that I can ask.
Okay.
What is the best way to get to those people?
Uh, I mean, the best way to get to them is a secret passage that you do not have access to. The second best way to get to them is straight down.
Oh, they're right below us. All right. And what should I be on the lookout for?
Um, you should be on the lookout for the fact that they know you're here.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna look over at Wong and I'm gonna be like, directly below us, there are 5 signatures. And they know we're here.
How can you tell her? I just kind of look. I actually don't look around, but like I'm just like leaning a little bit. You're sure?
Absolutely.
Fuck. There were some. I don't want to use the word bodyguards or law enforcement, but definitely some people who are protective of the shrine. So I'm wondering if the same people. Could tell he didn't want to mess with them.
Just like look down at my feet. Be like,
We don't have an earthbender.
but they know we're here. But they don't know that we know.
And we're not really being inconspicuous. We are just kind of standing here.
Yeah, we're just standing here.
Hanging out.
Come on. And I was like, nothing to see here. And I like start going down the street.
Your daikon is bobbing very innocently behind you. It also wants everyone to know that it is very
just
much.
take it a little bit further, and then I'll be like, there's a passageway, to get down there. We don't
know where it is.
We don't know. We don't have access to it. But if we can find it, they
Let's
might
try
not.
looking.
Yeah.
I have an alternative idea, but it's a shitty idea.
What is it?
Have them come to us and find us. Take us where we need to go. But that comes with its own inherent risks. And I would like to not get in a fight right now.
I think a fight's inevitable, but I would like to be ahead of the game.
Yes. Fight on our terms, not theirs. Or else the same thing's going to happen to us that happened to Lafang.
Oh yeah, y'all better be smart about this. I will tie y'all up in a chair so quick.
Good thing I don't have
All
to
of a
move
sudden,
my
Mr.
hands
Kim's
to
just
move
gonna
my
be standing
radishes.
there going,
I almost want to be tied up now. All right. That'll be your plan B.
Let's make it D.
Let's make it D. Based on the information that we find, it could definitely go down to F. Oh, fuck.
Or Z. I'm fine with Z too.
I'm fine with Z too.
All right, let's see if we can find anything, because the passage, if it's underground, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be an entrance via the foundation.
Yeah.
If it's on the grounds.
Mm-hmm. This isn't a big city. I don't imagine there's like super secret tunnels everywhere. Probably more of a cellar or a basement.
Or it's not uncommon for people of high standing to have escape routes into their neighbors' cellars. Especially if they're well known, it wouldn't surprise me if they existed. So maybe one of the neighbors on the left or the right, across the street or behind, or a shop. It really depends on what was put in place and how well the relations are.
You are absolutely brilliant. I could kiss you right now.
Please don't.
Where do you want to start? Nah, only with consent.
Yeah, and he said this like really matter-of-factly.
Please don't. And within like,
No, I
this...
meant like the information part, not the kissing part.
Yeah. Okay. I hope the please don't was also matter-of-factly.
It was all matter-of-fact.
Yeah. But so yeah, where do you want to start? Yeah, what's yeah? This is
you. Said you're an actor.
Hello, like I am Daikon Boomba. I am the bad guy.
Can you pretend to be staff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You want to trade clothes? Oh, you know, I just take off my scarf and like, you know, like untuck my shirt halfway. Like, it's like, there.
Just a reminder, y'all are still in the middle of the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Kyan doesn't care, but just for the audience, Kyan is just in the middle of the road in front of a murder scene.
Yeah.
Maybe find something. Like I'm not yelling this, by the way. This is like quiet to Kyan this entire time because we're like you said, we're in the middle of the street.
I have separate. I have more clothes. Like actually,
what?
I'm gonna put a hat on. Like,
oh God, which one did you put on?
The wolf bat, of course. Like,
No.
Oh, fucking beautiful. Anyway.
Okay. So the grounds of the area is laid out as follows.
Mm-hmm.
This is a corner lot. It's the biggest corner lot at the back of like a cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's way back there. So there are two buildings on the left and the right, but slightly to the front. So like if it's at the back of the circle at 12, they're at like 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they got a lot of land.
Yeah. There was a lot of space back there. And so because it was a gift, a gift from the Earth King himself, was this quite large allotment, whatever, this quite large chunk of land in Gowling. Because here's the thing, the Earth Sages retired at some point about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because they all just spontaneously decided to retire it overnight, and nobody knows why. And like they retired so thoroughly that 90% of them were never ever seen again. They just really retired. And the 10%,
probably literally. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. And the ones who survived were one, really loyal to the Earth King, or two, really good at keeping their fucking mouth shut and getting out of town real fast. The old man who lived here was the second kind. He knew how to be quiet. The fact of the matter is that 10 years ago, the Earth King had the precursor, this early version of the Daily, slaughter all the Earth Sages, with the exception of a few. And then he set up the University of Ba Sing Se with the remaining Earth Sages, so that really, knowledge was separated from the way that it had traditionally been taught, and things could be handled in a more hands-on way by the Earth King. It is very much the precursor to the "there is no war in Ba Sing Se" that we will see in a century from now. Nobody buries their head in the sand like an earthbender.
Fair. So kind of looking around at this, maybe we'll go to the 5 o'clock one first. That's looking around as we're going that way. Is there like maybe like a basket, like just kind of like sort of hanging around, maybe on a porch or something that I could swipe or have Wong swipe?
So there are, I don't know, man. Flip a coin for me. Let's find out. Or roll a d4 and tell me evens or odds.
But you have dice on you. You have
Evens.
dice on you.
Yeah, evens 4.
Okay, so evens was, yeah, so there's a basket. It's not real big.
It's fine.
Little
I'm
picnic basket.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's exactly what I needed. I'm just gonna like pull this basket and I'm gonna dump all of my performers inside of it, like, and I'll arrange them. There's daikons, there's some peaches, like some plums, some cucumbers, like some very tiny radishes, and some some other kind of stone fruit. I'm just gonna like arrange them to look probably some carrots with some leafy stuff. And I'm gonna arrange them, and I was like, I got it.
I don't know where you keep all of them. There's a lot more than it looks like can fit in your pack.
Listen, it's all about just hydrating and rehydrating. And so essentially, and I have like taken off like my undershirt, and I just sort of have the because I have like a vest and then like a big like bell sleeve shirt, and so I take off that like that big undershirt like behind a wall or whatever, and I put the vest back on to kind of make myself look a little bit more of a tradesman, so to speak. And I'm gonna go and I was like, you got my back again?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna sneak in plain sight. Just looked out at myself, but there's a stack of what I can carry.
It's okay. Most sellers have openings from the outside too. It's cool. And like, I'm gonna go and I'm going to knock on this door with my basket of goodies.
I'm gonna stay out of the sight.
Yep.
Which door are you knocking on?
The front door.
You deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
a very well dressed major domo opens the door, and he looks you up and he looks you down. He looks you up and he looks you down again. And he sighs and he goes, I don't know what backwater wreck you're from, but here sellers knock at the servants' entrance, and we went to the market today. He closes the door in your face.
I'm actually the pickler. I'm here to do your pickling. That's what I'm here for.
Oh no, he has shut the door in your face. You're gonna have to try the 7 o'clock house. May I suggest the servants' entrance this time?
Okay. Actually, can I just go to the servants' entrance here as well? Because fuck that. like they don't know that I came here.
Oh my god.
I mean, you can, but I'm gonna make you roll for it and know that if you fail this roll, he will open that door too.
I'm here for it. Listen, it's a cartoon. I'm here for it. Push my luck,
All
right?
Push your luck.
With passion. It's a 7.
Okay. Well, it's a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mixed
Yeah.
it's a mixed success. You huff. You cannot believe just the rudeness of this dude. Like, what the fuck? Here you are
Kareen.
at night with your great vegetables. You're just trying to pickle shit. I mean, you're not. You're trying to break into a house and rummage through the basement. See if there's
I'm here to pickle.
But he doesn't know that. He
Yeah.
thinks you're here to pickle. How dare he treat you that way? And you huff and you march off to the servants' entrance. You knock on the door a little roughly. And a girl opens the door, and she's very nice. She's like, she's early 20s, very clean.
I open my vest a little bit.
And she kind of gives you She looks you up and down. You know, you're cute. She gives
Yeah.
you a little half smile. She's like, the market closed already.
Oh, I'm not here to sell anything. Maybe I have the wrong house. I was just here to get the pickling started, but I just can't seem to find the seller.
Um,
It's
she
pickling
is
season.
she is about to move from the door. She really is. She is really about to move from the door and let you in when the major domo walks by in the hall and he just sees you and he looks at you and he goes and he looks at the girl and he looks at you and he looks at the girl. Now the good news for you is that he now thinks that you are sneaking around with the kitchen maid. I don't know why everybody looks at you and thinks you're just trying to get your dick wet, Kyan, but they do. So the good news is he thinks now that you're trying to sneak into the house to see this kitchen maid. Bad news is he's still not gonna let you in the house. You look poor. You look poor and like you steal silverware.
Just
So
one
he tells
shirt. What? One shirt.
you take off the lack of a shirt is all it takes to convince some people that you steal the good silver.
I must be looking really pasty right now. Or tan. I'm actually probably looking really tan because, that's how that actually works back then. I work outside.
And so he shoos both of you out on the porch as this kitchen maid is trying to explain that no, you are not a secret boyfriend, and while you're still trying to sell this pickling story to the kitchen staff, the people who would book a pickling appointment, they would know if they ordered pickles, and you're trying to convince all of them that you're here to start pickling, and they're all like, this is the worst. You have the stupidest boyfriend ever, Kaya. And Kaya's like, I don't even know this dude. And they're like, sure. And they shoo you both outside onto the porch.
What does that say about the poor kitchen maid if they're already assuming this?
Obviously, the Kaya has dated fuckboys before.
And and so as we're kind of pushed out, I'm just like, so Kaya, right? I'm Zora. Hi, how's it going? So I'm obviously not here to pickle, and I'm not here to get my pickle tickled either. So, but since we're both stuck out here, maybe you can help me out. I'm just honestly here for a little information.
And now she looks curious. She was annoyed and confused, but now she's curious. Kaya has never had an adventure. She does not lead an adventurous life. She's a good girl. She's a careful maid. She takes careful, she likes this stuff. So she's curious. She leans in towards you. She goes, "What is it?"
So actually, I am undercover from the University of the Boston Sang Anthropology Department, and we have an interest in the and I look over at the property, some missing valuables from the family that we're charged with. The thing is that just I know places like these have cellars that you can get underground to. Is there a way that your cellar is an entrance to theirs, or is the neighbors? That's all I'm kind of looking into.
She laughs, and it's not a mean laugh. She's just it's a very this is thrilling laughter. She's like, "Oh goodness, no." Um, Counselor, oh my god, I ain't never named this man. I've been talking about him for like a hot minute. I ain't named him, not even in my head. I can't name him Paul.
Karage.
Counselor Karage. Counselor Karage was one of the best earthbenders in town.
Yeah.
If there were, there aren't now. He was so paranoid. The only ways in and off the property were on the property. and she's chit chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you have her attention and you are cute, and now she knows you're not trying to sneak in the house. Is still the silverware. You're an anthropologist. This is so fantastic. You are a secret romantic doctor. You are concealing like she's written this whole fanfic about you
we
in
have
her head.
we have friends fiction. Let's go. Like,
Um, so she's talking on, and as she does, she lets you know that her family has served this family for generations, and she was just a little girl.
mm-hmm.
Like she wasn't a big girl like she is now. She was just a little girl when the family died, but she remembers the night that everybody died. Just because the first sign anybody had that anything had gone wrong was the fire in the house, and how it wasn't just the family, like a bunch of servants died too, and her very good friend, um, like, well, not anymore, she hasn't seen her in years, but they were about the same age, and both their parents served at the neighboring houses, so they used to play together, and her friend was one of the few servants who survived.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it was a bigger mess. Most people just count the family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had walked around and really checked the back of the memorial, you would have seen that there was an additional 5 names on the back for the servants who died there that night.
Okay, so you have been. What was your friend's name?
She tells you that her friend's name is Tara, and that she doesn't come out this way anymore. But if you're ever downtown, she does work at the tea shop down by, down right in the nearby, right by the council house.
Ah, you know what? I have met your friend, and she is a delight.
She goes, she really is.
Absolutely hardworking woman.
And so she tells you that she really does have to get back in the house. Very
I
apologetic.
don't want to keep you, and I will give her a plum for her hard work. For you, my dear.
She takes it, she appreciates it, and she lets you know that if you swing by, like, don't try to go on the grounds at night because it's really not safe. Nobody knows, where Councilman Karagu did not have tunnels, and who knows if they've been kept up without an earthbender there. But if
Mm-hmm.
you stop by during the day, maybe you'll even be able to see some of where where the ground used to move in and out on those tunnels.
Okay. I will bid my adieu and sort of look around. I am assuming Wong has, like, sneakily followed and listened. Like,
I'm like on the other side of like a tree,
yeah.
listening. Just like also being like, what the fuck are you telling her? Like, stop.
I saunter over and I was like, you got all that?
Yeah.
I'm cold. And I put my shirt back on.
I'm assuming Tara might have potentially been the pissed off server.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we shouldn't go
Absolutely.
talk to her. Again, she might not tell us.
Definitely not.
However, she hasn't met our lovely Mr. Kim Ji-woon.
She hasn't. That being said, I take a pause. Do you think that we need to? And this is just my theory, friend. Every second that we waste moving is more that something terrible could happen to Lo Fong.
Right. Also, I want to say, I say we're going to talk as we walk off the property.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking, right? If the entrance is on the property, does he have earthbenders in his family?
I am not sure. I know he's had family in the Earth Kingdom, so logic says maybe.
The 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 hat lady. I still have my bad hat on. Like,
Hat? Yes.
hat lady.
We can ask. Regardless, I don't think we should go in without all of us. Period. Like,
Yeah, we could use as much firepower as we can.
way to be literal.
Maybe literal. All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's leave you two making good decisions, great decisions, as you walk back towards the council house. And let's check in with Kim Ji Woon. Mr. Kim, it's a great thing that you literally cut your teeth on sitting quietly in your mother's lap through shit way more boring than this. So, you managed to sit there and not look like you would rather be bleeding out your ears. But eventually they finish with the minutia of running a town. And you find yourself real glad that of all the things your family does, politics, like this kind of politics, is not one of them. You are so glad you don't got to do this shit. Um, but eventually, people, they talk, they ask their questions. You are quite impressed at just how deftly your uncle handles them. Like, you're used to a certain kind of radiated, you're going to do it because I'm terrifying and why would you not, from your grandfather specifically. Less so from your father. Like, your grandfather he's that dude. But his brother is more of a quiet strength. Um, he manages to take every single whine, bitch, and complaint that comes at him and flip it around deft as fuck until the other person is absolutely absolutely agreeing with him and trying to convince him to do more than what he wanted in the first place. Like, you've never seen anyone manipulate a room full of people this smoothly. If nothing else, you have been given a class today. Uh, but the room is emptying out, and your uncle gestures for everyone else at the table to wait. So the 8 other elders remain seated, and he summons you forth.
Yep. Stand up smoothly, as if my legs did not fall asleep, because of course they didn't. Why would they? Scrolls held carefully in my arms, and calm and smoothly step forward.
All right. So Boomy looks around and he does a little flick of his fingers, and 2 guards. They are very much paid muscle. They are Dalfei muscle, not community muscle. Step forward, shut the doors, and block it. And now people are really looking at you. It was Boomy hasn't introduced you yet, but obviously something important is about to happen. And he goes, "This is my great nephew. This is Kim Ji Woon, and he has disturbing information that will absolutely affect us both as a town, a country, and financially." And he looks real specifically at this one pinch faced old woman. Like, she just looked like she smelled her own farts all day and her farts smell like lemon. Like, he looks right at her when he goes, "And financially, um, Kim, tell him what you told me."
In the comet passed overhead, I was on the very island that housed the Eastern Air Temple. I was kept inside by the Fire Nation Navy patrol that just so happened to be locking the town down. Just so happened to have business on the mountain. Business that left the air temple ruined, smoking, entirely devoid of monks, men, women, children. You will not believe me because I got here before the news did. You would not believe, perhaps you would not believe me if I showed you the few survivors here. Perhaps you will believe these bloodied scrolls. Scrolls from the northern temple. Scrolls that even the most flexible of nomads would not be able to take. Perhaps
So, oh,
when
go ahead. I'm sorry.
perhaps when the Fire Nation comes further in, you will believe them, because I am sure that someone is aware that this city no longer has one of its valuable trading partners.
So as you're saying this, as you've been talking, the group has had a variety of facial expressions. The woman who looks like she's sucking on lemons just does not believe you, has not believed you from start to finish. She doesn't know why her time's being wasted. She's not looking at what you've put on the table. Um, Other members look just are deliberately enforcing their ignorance. They are deeply uncomfortable, and you can tell now you really understood what your uncle meant. Um, you're used to being around a very particular group of people, which is that one in the Fire Nation, your honor is ridiculously important, but also among the Daothay. You are from a criminal background, but also from a highly honor based nation. And the two of those, you're not used to people just lying like that. Nobody comes with this kind of information in your world just to bullshit, just to win an advantage. This is something to be moved on. It's an insult. Insults are addressed. These are people who don't address insults. These are people who stop and do the finances on an insult and go, is it more cost effective for me to eat it or make them pay twice as much later? But they ain't doing shit now. Um, and you are seeing that for possibly the first time in your adult life, what it means for someone to be presented with a very specific series of facts and go, but I'm not sure how that's going to hurt me. Um, the pinch faced woman goes, if the air nomads decide to cut us out of their trading routes, like she is completely ignoring everything you said. If the air nomads decide to cut us out of their trading routes, there are absolutely other ways to move our valuables.
With all due respect, ma'am, it seems that you failed to notice the fact that the air nomads were given no choice in the matter, and that the people who took that choice from them weren't asking. I doubt that your expertise, venerable as it is, will be consulted when they come calling.
Uh, she looks you up and down, and she looks Boomy up and down, and she gives you both the same look of disdain. And she goes, really? Because I come from a wonderful line. of nobility, both here and in the Fire Nation, much like yourself, Mr. Kim. But unlike your family, mine's never stooped to crime. I really feel like the slander you're slinging about Fire Lord Sozin, a man who has selflessly built up his navy to support the water tribes as they have been unable to handle their own pirates in the northern straits. Fire Lord Sozin, who has been so generous as to send his armies abroad to help enforce against the Dao Fei in other better regulated towns in the Earth Kingdom. And now all of a sudden, he's attacking the entire Air Nation. It seems incredulous and unbelievable, and I will not hear it. And she gets up and leaves. Everyone else is still here, but she has exited the room.
Kim's like Kim's nostrils have flared. Like he is watching her go. It is obvious to all that he is uh, outrageously infuriated. Uh, and he has to take a couple of deep breaths. They are like he's been in high society. He understands how to breathe deeply in such a way that you do not look exactly or sound exactly like you are huffing and puffing. Uh, but he still has to take that time, and he does. And then he turns back to the rest of the council. I understand this is a great deal to take in. Do you have, please, if you have questions to ask, I am here. I am entirely certain of what I have witnessed and of what will be and of what is coming. So please ask.
Um, and one of the older men, he's older than your Uncle Boomy. He looks at you and he goes, "What does the Fire Nation want with the air temples? There are no volcanoes there. There's no how what fire is there for them to bend in the highest breezes of the mountains? Why should we be scared they're coming for us? Are they going to cross the lavaless desert? The Fire Nation is so small because they have such a they need they need to be around their heat so far. Why should I be scared they're coming for us?"
Consider, good counselor, consider the Navy that has been expanding for years. The Navy that has been doing good things. The Navy that could subdue pirates the water tribes couldn't. The Navy that could be anywhere in the world to help anyone on any humanitarian mission. The Navy that has been fighting and winning for years. Consider a Navy unconstrained by honor, by morality. Consider the Avatar Roku, the great and honorable, is gone. If consider that perhaps whichever avatar is supposed to come next is unable or unwilling. I don't understand. Consider who is the next richest target.
You're muted.
You're muted. And
I hope
now
not.
you've said the magic word. You said the A word.
Mm-hmm.
You said the avatar, and it occurs to people that, even if you're lying, if something happened among the Air Nation, if nothing else, rumors of the avatar, it's always a big deal when the avatar does anything. The the world literally moves. All of energy shifts around them, and it's always fun. And nobody has met the new avatar yet. Everyone knows that they're a child. No one knows who the child is, but everyone knows that the avatar is a child somewhere in the Air Nation. Um, and this is occurring to you all of a sudden as you're saying it for the first time as well, Mr. Kim, that if the Fire Lord was successful, the Fire Lord may have killed the Avatar. And you're seeing that across people's faces. The ones who believe you, you can tell instantly because you see their faces go, did the Fire Lord kill the Avatar? And on that, we got about 5 minutes left, so why don't we go ahead and oh yeah, I'm an asshole. Is the Avatar dead? Great question. Let's wrap up.
Perfect cliffhanger. Let's go.
Perfect.
So let's go ahead and take a look at our growth questions. So guys, did you learn anything challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world today?
Yeah. Learned that maybe our buddy here wasn't involved with an assassination. A mass assassination.
My brain blanked out and forgot about that part. I was just gonna say everyone thinks that Kayam's a slut.
You learned that too.
It's
right now, I feel
it's an accurate assumption. I don't.
Honestly, I think Lo Fong's hypothetical, for people who have not connected him to that murder yet, people are damn, the dick must be insane.
I can't see. All right. And so, have you stopped a dangerous threat or solved a community problem?
I don't think anything's been solved or stopped yet. No.
We're still in the process.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
All right. And did you guide a companion towards balance or in the session at your center?
Where am I at session?
Oh wait, I technically stole some shit.
Yeah, you stole some shit.
I'm at center.
Woo!
I am not at center. I have tilted into loyalty on my balance thing because with this, I am going regardless. He is my companion right now. What he did in the past, I'm in that. I'm one into loyalty. So I started at center, but I made that choice based on my actions. Be like, I'm not centered right now. And I'm not that confident after getting slammed in the face with my chest out. Jeez. Man.
Hey, they treated you a little rough today. Look at that.
It's alright. It's okay. I'm right.
So let's go ahead and check out your individual questions. Let's start with Obi, Mr. Kim.
Did you learn something meaningful or important about your lineage, its members, or its effects on the world and others? And I think it's something he's a little bit familiar with in the Fire Nation because as far as nobility goes, they're very much new money, and people do be looking at new money in certain kinds of ways, but they respect that you still got it, even if you're new to it. But out here, this is our town. This is our house. You can sit there, look me dead in the eye, spit in my face, and walk away and expect nothing to come of it. That is terrible.
So you learn that pinch-faced ladies can be disrespectful. Gotcha. No, I know
I
what you
think
mean.
I won't
though.
smash those bones to powder.
You know, look, I can't laugh about that. I can. It's funny. All right, let's see. Mare, what about you? What are your girls' questions for tonight?
Did you get a friend to join in or approve of one of your bad habits? Not tonight. I think anything I did was solo.
Well, how do you how do you define the acquisition of those scrolls?
Well, that was last session.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
But
this
I
session
I
will
made
be
active
approved
use
of
of it. In fact,
Oh, it's true.
appreciated you for doing it.
I didn't tell you how I got them.
You
I
don't have to.
appreciate.
You
I
don't-
also.
they
as
just
if I
have to
didn't
approve
know.
it.
I appreciated the flower and put it in your hair. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. I have checked it off. So yes, y'all approve of my bullshit.
Yes.
They do.
I think it's very fucking effective. Yeah.
Hey, if it gets the job done, right?
Yep.
All right, and Kai, what about you?
All right, first, let's see if I have checked off any of my legacy things. I have not saved a friend's life. I did not stop a fight with calm words, unless Arnica, you know something I don't.
No.
I wasn't very calm at all this session. I was not calm.
No, you was feeling yourself.
Yeah. Did I make a friend live up to a principle they have neglected, however?
I don't think so.
Nope, that's okay. And now for the actual question. Did I express growth? Did I express vulnerability by admitting you were wrong, or that you should have listened to someone you ignored? I mean, I didn't fucking listen when the door was slammed in my face. At all. Like, I should have listened and I didn't. But that's up to you because I still got information regardless.
I'm gonna have to call that a no on this
I'm okay
one.
with that. Yeah, I've been growing pretty quickly. I'm kind of happy where I'm sitting right now anyway. So, yeah, so that's it.
Hell yeah.
We all went,
Awesome.
right?
Yeah, we all went.
All right, cool. We all went. Awesome. Great. So, with that, everyone, thank you so much for coming and showing up. Really appreciate y'all stopping by. As far as what's going on the rest until you see us again on Friday, yeah, lots of it. Full schedule. First off, on Sunday, you can find me over at Not One Heroes, where I'll be playing some Ride with the Frost Maiden as my Hobgoblin Barbarian. Arctica's having a hot flash. It's all right, babe.
I am.
I'll get us through this. I promise. Sorry. And then on Wednesday, I will be back here. It's not the 18th this Tuesday, is it? No, it is. So this coming Tuesday, first of all, I will be over on Play Cancer Way playing a game of Scion. I am playing an incarnate of the witch Angraboda, which is the witch in Norse mythology that birthed Fenrir, Hel, and the World Serpent. So
a badass.
A absolute badass. But just kind of wants to live her best cottagecore witch life and just wants people to leave her alone. Like, especially her ex-husband. Like,
Right.
it's Loki. So, and then on Wednesday, on the 19th, you can catch me back here. I'll be returning with my my Monster of the Week campaign. People just figured out there's a lot of Fable shit going on, and they don't like it. And hopefully, I will be muted through half of the episode next week either, because I was last week. And as a storyteller, that's awkward. And then we're back here with episode 7. That's me. Obi, go.
I have been Kim Ji-woon. And next week I will be once more, but elsewhere and other times you can find me on Twitter at Jossadison, that's JOSADISON, or perhaps even on Twitch at twitch.tv /Shinawi. Maybe we'll see each other again.
It's me. Hi,
Mhm.
I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. As several other people have already said, you can find me here at 6 p.m. playing Wong, our lovely rogue. On Saturday tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern on Friends Who Roll Dice, there will be the finale of my Print Weaver Journey game, and tomorrow they're going to be fighting some of themselves, some of their dead bodies, at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sorting Key Twitch channel, previously Eva Sari. We have started up our Horizons Call game again. So that will be session 2. And we're going to have a trial where I'm going to hopefully bring justice to people who stole from me. On, oh God, I'm having a hard blank. Go support Play Cancer Away. On the 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern time in the Free Forge server, Discord server, I will be running a game of Sunken, a game of nautical horror where my players are all likely going to die. And that's a charity game. And on the 6th, I will be running one of the charity games over here on Val's channel of Magical Kitty Save the Day. I hope I didn't forget anything.
Hope not. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Go ahead, Arnica.
All right. Thank you so much for having shown up again this week. I'm Arnica. I've been your storyteller. You can find me on
Wow, my internet decided to dip out like right at that second.
so maybe I'll pop up randomly. Who knows? You'll be able to catch the premiere of my new show on Girls Run These Worlds. Wish We Weren't Here, our terrible, horrible, no good, very bad road trip to save reality. Premieres October 24th. If you like children's literature and you're always like, man, Wonderland and Neverland and Oz are great, but you realize they're scary as fuck when you look at them as adults, right? If you've ever had that thought process, you're gonna fucking love this show, I promise. You think I'm wild here? I'm about to get out of pocket. Um, but until then, you'll just have to see me here every Friday with this fantastic crew. And so let's bounce it over to Val and wrap up for the night.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and raid Play Cancer Away, playing some Dungeons and Dragons. So we will see you all next week. Bye bye.
Night.
So technically,